Good morning, everyone, and thank you to both Alan and to David. My job today, as Alan said, is to make sure you have a really good day. I think it's going to be a really interesting, couple of. We've got plenary sessions that are going to take us through as well, but hopefully you're going to come out with a very clear idea about your own AI strategy, your own AI journey, and I hope it's one that's going to be motivated by outcomes. I hope as well it's going to be one that we'll see today that's going to be ethical and value-driven as well. So a great day. Before we actually start, though, just a health and safety announcement. Today's also about your safety as well. If the fire alarm does go off, it's real. If you can follow us out to the doors at the back. I could get a job with Ryanair doing this sort of thing, but straight on to the back. So if it does go off as well. And please as well, try and collaborate with everyone as well. Share ideas on your journey there as well. It was interesting, though, flying across here last night, which got in late just saying, but I thought, why do we need to spend a whole day, a whole conference talking about one thing? This thing about artificial intelligence. It's something that's prevalent in our daily lives all the time, isn't it? We just don't often think about it. And I think it's been about in some guys from the 1950s. It's not something new. It's probably 7 decades it's been about for. David, it was interesting. I was kind of reflecting as well before I came across. I speak to my daughter about it as well. So my daughter's doing exactly the same degree that I done, no novelty in the family sort of thing about her journey, as she's seen that sort of sharp rise in AI that, I've maybe seen in the last couple of years. She says, well, it's something that kind of goes on, but we don't often think about it. And I think this is why these conferences are really important. I think it's a case of it's going to help us understand the why, the benefits of AI, and how it can help our everyday life, from creating generative design for, maybe new facade designs, but in helping in terms of more environmental outcomes. But I think the big thing for me is to come back to what's changed so much since, I started my career. And I think it comes back to actually the change in the physical built environment. I started off as a young engineer. There was probably 2 questions I was always asked. Can you deliver it faster and can you deliver it cheaper? How can you do more for less? And I think that conversation has changed quite starkly. And I think we don't think as much about even construction. It's more about a wider built environment. I think for me, the motivation for AI and the motivation for change in terms of what we're doing, I think we're at a pivotal moment, in terms of how AI can better support the thriving humanity, natural environments, and often wicked challenges, we say. So when we frame the challenges of industry, I think it's changed much, much more as well. I think the stark reality is the tools that I used, as a young engineer, that you cannot use them anymore to solve the problems you see. They're now multifaceted in nature. We need to use data to better predict, to make better choices at all stages of the asset life cycle. And I think you'll hear today, above all, I think we really need to drive better environmentally and sustainability for the end users. These are some of the typical ones that we are seeing coming up. I chair the Chartered Institute of Buildings Innovation Policy, and these are the things that members were saying why they thought AI was important. As we know, we're going through big changes in climate and climate adaptation. But also at the same time, we're thinking about, integrity of our assets as well, the safety use cases, asset resilience and performance. So we're not just thinking about construction, but we're thinking about the longer term asset performance as well, over 30, 40 or decades as well. And at the same time, how can you use AI to help us get better responsive and resource as well as the same thing about better compliance of our assets as well. So the challenges, I think, are much more wicked, but at the same time, I think AI is going to really help us. But key to it all, I think, is data. And I think it'll be a big part. I'll be interested to see how much today. And we talk about data and AI, I think it's about quality data as well. It's like anything. It's no different to BIM or digital twinning. If you get bad data, it's going to lead to poor decisions in terms of what we're doing. So for me, I think this is the big reason actually why we're spending an entire day, because the challenges we need to do as an industry. I think at the same time as well, Alan, I was thinking, how many years I've been coming across here and you still invite me, which is very kind of you sort of thing, but it's over a decade, isn't it? It's over a decade we've been on this journey with CitA. We've been talking about, if you like, this information pathway sort of thing. It started talking about BIM, better information across the life cycle within there. And I think we're probably now at the nexus in terms of this information journey that Ireland's on within there. How we think about moving from BIM to digital twinning, but also thinking about how it fits in as well with advanced manufacture and MMC. And, when you look about, the work that we've seen, David, that's going on just now, a lot of it, is advanced manufacture. You look at Tony Midland Steel, Tony, you about? Tony's waving in the back. Speaking, with Tony last night about, the work that Ireland's doing in terms of advanced manufacture with there, we now need to think about moving to Industry 4.0, thinking about cyber physical systems that are connected, they're smart, and they're thinking about better automation in terms of what we're doing. And I think today's conference is going to really help us think about how we make sense of data and create these insights as well. And I think, if you go back to your dad was the same as you. I started off, my day one, I had a water level on site sort of thing. That's shows you how things and how much things have came within there as well. But I generally think today's discussion is about how we can think about AI in the context of Industry 4.0 and how we bring all these things together from BIM to digital twinning across the way as well. One of the things I'll be talking about this afternoon is we've launched, and we'll make sure you get the link for it, is the free Chartered Institute Building AI Playbook. And back in 2023, we asked members, this was via Construction Manager magazine, to say, actually, what do you think about this AI thing? Is it something that's important to you? I think the good thing was we called it the blue pill with the red pill from the Phil and the Matrix. Do you stick your head in the sand and think these industry problems for the next generation? Glad to see everybody was actually thinking about, AI could really help us. A lot of folks saw, how it could improve productivity, but they weren't sure how to do it. They certainly thought it could help in terms of safety performance and safety use cases. And at the same time, though, they were concerned about the ethics of AI that we'll cover later on today, and indeed the biases round about it as well. They're also worried about what it meant in terms of job role. Did it mean the loss of jobs, or actually did it mean the reshaping of job roles as well? And also, what does it mean in terms of contract? What can you actually use AI for in a reliable and proportionate manner as well? Again, back to the biases within there as well. A lot of folk were still on the fence in terms of what that looked like as well. But at the same time, I think the overarching thing was, we need to embrace AI. We need to make change as well in what it's doing. So over today, I'm hoping we're all going to unpack all these sort of things. But I think it's really important to actually start off very much, with the why. You can see this is a model. I don't know if anybody's seen it before. It's from the UK government. I just think it's a really good model. I wish I'd been there when I was a graduate. It just shows that, we're now motivated by outcomes. And Sharon, I hope I'm teeing this up nicely for yourself. It might be things like the UN sustainability goals, but, they come down to a point where you've got to make decisions and insights. You're making them now, not just project level, program level, but across whole estates. You're sharing it across networks within there. And we're now thinking more about data being a system of system level as well. And this is where AI comes in. To be able to answer these top, big, hairy questions, we need to be able to start to get data from not just construction, but from our natural built environment, a social built environment, and the services that we provide, creating that line of sight in terms of what we're doing. And the great book on the left-hand side, I'll make sure everybody gets a free copy of that one as well. And at the same time, go back to when I started my career, it was how do you improve productivity? Have we done anything really about it? I think the answer is no. You can still see the bottom line. Productivity is still flatlining, whilst the top line, if you like, of advanced manufacture continues to climb. So the big thing is, how can we help AI come together with robotics and actually lift the productivity gap and pull it more and more into that world of advanced manufacture? So there's many compelling reasons for doing AI that we're going to explore today through the breakout sessions and the plenaries as well. So I really hope you have a fantastic day and come away with some new ideas. So at this point, I'm really delighted to hand over to our first speaker, who's Dr. Sharon Richardson. And Sharon is the Director and AI Lead at Horley. She's leading the focus on how we can bring new capabilities in AI that's going to impact on design and build, and indeed also think about operation as well, and the role that applying data and technologies can to a sustainable and value-driven built environment. So.